What did you see that makes you think like, I want to stay a little longer?
When I got to the country, it was just like this incredible network of really, really interesting people.
Tracy came to Paraguay after living and working in several countries with a career in finance and tech that allows her to work remotely.
This is a great investment country, just in general.
After years in cities like New York, she began looking for a place that offered more balance, stability, and freedom. Is there anything you would say to yourself before coming here? Like, did you have any doubts or any concerns? In this episode, she shares her experience in Asunción, her residency process, life as a digital nomad, and why Paraguay is becoming a real base for work, investment, and building a routine.
The language barrier that I have experienced here is probably like one of the biggest barriers.
We're here with Tracy from Malaysia, Australia, Malaysia, a bit of everything.
You got it right. You got it right. Hi, Ali.
Applied officially as Australia, I guess, in the residency process. But yeah, tell us a little bit of your background and what you do.
I grew up in both Australia and Malaysia, kind of like hopped between the two. My parents had business in both countries, which drove that. And then most recently lived in the US in New York for about like 9 years. Yeah.
Which one did you prefer the food in?
Oof. Wow, great questions. The hard-hitting questions first. Malaysia, without a doubt, like hands down.
I heard great things about it.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
I work in finance. So I work in tech, but I lead the finance team at an ed tech company. So we sell online courses for software engineering, UI, UX design, all that sort of stuff.
Where does the finance cross the UI design? Like until finance, I had you. Then it all became about software development. I was like, wait. Great
question. No, so I have a background in finance, like pure finance, but now I work in the finance team
of the company that does completely something else.
Exactly.
Not a Wall Street girl.
No, no more.
Paraguay girl.
yeah, exactly. I hung up my hat.
Are you gonna launch your own Wall Street in Paraguay?
We'll see.
Okay, amazing.
As the days go by, it sounds more and more enticing.
Nice. What brought you here?
You.
Okay.
Technically speaking. I am a digital nomad.
Okay.
I hate that term.
Yeah, every digital nomad does, right?
Yeah, it conveys the lifestyle very well. I have a location-independent job. I recently got made a contractor, which allows me to work from wherever I want to in whatever time zone. And then, I guess I started to travel and work. I met my partner who also is in the same boat. And so location independence is a huge priority for us, which then begs the question, in which country do I owe taxes? So how I got to Paraguay is very driven by that question. And then as time went by, I think there are more and more reasons why Paraguay.
Amazing. And how was the figuring out that actually Paraguay could serve you well in terms of having a tax residency here?
Yeah, so I started by speaking to my tax accountant first in the US. I also have, a lot of ties to these 3 countries like the US, Malaysia, and Australia. So I had to involve an international tax expert at some point with property and just money market and stock market investments in all 3 countries. So it was a little bit complicated. There was a short list of countries where tax residency would make the most sense. And I think Malta got thrown in the mix, Estonia, Portugal, the UAE with Dubai being a huge hub, Paraguay. For me, at that point in time, minimal physical presence was very important. So that's how I ended up shortlisting.
Amazing. Yeah. So have you been through the process of residency already?
So I'm at the start of the process. So with Paraguay Pathways, I got on an intro call. I was like, yeah, this sounds great. Let's do it. Got all my stuff together, which took ages because it had to do with Malaysia and Australia. And then came here physically to Paraguay, got my cedula. So I think that's the first of many, many steps that will follow.
Amazing. How has everything been so far?
So smooth.
Amazing.
I'm really enjoying the process of just having an agency to work with. I think I was contemplating doing it independently for a while, but I did understand that it would take so much longer. And then I was also going to deal with this language barrier. But I think with an agency, just like kind of verifying every step of the way is like a huge value add for me. And then the ease and convenience, obviously, of just like taking care of the language and like
saving time.
Exactly. And you guys, like, this is the core competency of the company, right? Like, you've done it a million times before.
Yeah, of course. It's funny because, like, a person would never actually see all the steps that go out in the background.
That's right.
My equation is, like, take my words for it. If you want, I can show you the breakdown.
Yeah.
If your time is worth more than $20 an hour, you're better off having an agency doing that. At least at our price, it's better off having an agency for doing that. Because that's literally the time that goes into it, assuming you don't make mistakes. You just literally nail every step of the process.
Right.
That's what you get in the end.
You know you're talking to a finance person. You know how to get to me.
A break-even analysis.
I did the math.
100%. I mean, I gotta do the finance part of the company, right? So I can research that. But hey, so how long have you been here already?
How long?
Yeah.
It's been 3 weeks so far. So I started with, I'll be here for 2 weeks, you know, bang, bang, get it done and off I go. And then I started to really enjoy it. So now we're planning to be here for 6 weeks in total.
All right, amazing. Is there a chance you're going to extend after 6 weeks?
Maybe. You never know.
No.
Yeah, it's going great so far.
I've heard this story so many times. It's been literally like...
Everyone's been telling me that. But every time I ask, like, what exactly do you guys do in Asunción? There's not much response. Asado.
It's a convenient base because you got few distractions. Like, of course, there's stuff to do, nightlife, etc. Regular things that a city has to offer, but no crazy distractions.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Rio?
Yes.
Okay. That is a very distracting city, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like I went to Rio in Carnival.
Okay.
It's not really my kind of thing, you know. Like, so it was overwhelming. But I agree. Like, I feel like this is a place where you want to hunker down and kind of like get shit done.
Yeah, kind of a base, I guess, so that you get the things you have to do. And then when it's fun time, you have fun time.
Yeah.
How is it to balance when you're traveling the work aspect and, of course, the visiting, touring, doing activities?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that as a digital nomad?
When I first started, which was 4 years ago, you get in this headspace where like, oh, I have the scarcity mindset. This is going to go away very soon. And you try to do all of the things. And then you very quickly burn out. And I feel like you know what I'm talking about because you used to do that too. And then you start thinking, how can I make this lifestyle more sustainable?
Yeah.
And so you start spending longer periods of time in one place if you know that that place has a lot to offer. There's just some places and periods of time where you just can't avoid, like European summer. Yeah, do all the things and go all out. And then after the 3 months, I just crash and end up in Asunción and tranquilo for 3 months, you know. So I've been going back and forth.
That's it. So going back to the previous comment, my point is, isn't it convenient sometimes to have a base that you know, like you can be there, no visa, no stress, no nothing, when you have spent like 3 months in Europe in summer?
Yes, 100%. Like after a while, you do start thinking, you know, you start defaulting to like a home usually when you have a home. But if you are completely just like unhinged or untethered, I think it gets a bit tough, which is where my situation is right now. Like my stuff lives in a storage unit in Virginia. You know, my parents are in Malaysia and Australia. So like, where is home? And I feel like having that base is very grounding. Yeah.
It leads us to phase 2.
Yeah.
So the moment you look for a base, you see, when you start saving money on taxes, that feels great. But it feels the same great, it's actually how bad it feels to actually then say, have a base in a different country where you get back to pay like 40%. So I think that at the end of the digital nomad journey, you're like, I'm not going back to paying 40%. I'm going back to Paraguay in a certain sense. A lot of people have finished their digital nomad days like this, right?
You make A very good point. I haven't even thought about like that far ahead, but yes, it's going to be very hard to actually justify paying anything more than zero, right?
Exactly, right? Because it's just so, like, it's more painful to have something taken away from you than it is joyful to actually save that money. So I think it's even harder than to actually renounce having a base here. Yeah. By the way, how was the experience in the US? Why didn't you just decide to go for like a full green card citizenship and establish a complete life in the US since you've been working there for some years?
I think that I have never really planned on getting a green card for many reasons, like mostly financial, honestly. I didn't see a future in the US where I would live there without being fully employed. So work visa kind of, fulfills that requirement. For me, like without a work visa, I wouldn't have a job in the US and therefore don't have to stay there. As I started to become more remote and having that tie to the US, I was never really happy paying US taxes for many, many reasons. Okay. And then with the current administration and just the fact that like you're not physically there consuming services, I think that just, makes it more of a cognitive dissonance. Like, why am I still paying very high taxes?
What was your tax rate, give or take?
So with the federal and living in New York, which is like a high...
All included?
Yeah, it's like 40%.
Okay, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, we pay our taxes and all that sort of stuff on top of it. Yeah, it's 40%. So it's significant. And it really, 100%. Really moves the needle.
What are you planning to do with the 40% you're saving now? Is it going to go to travel, savings, investments?
Great question. I plan to slash my work week down by 1 day.
Oh, nice.
Which affords me the exact same amount of income. I'll work less, It is a stage of life thing at this stage of my life. I think I'm really just focused on how do I spend like my time
100%
doing things that I like want to do and love to do and just living rather
Makes
than
a lot of sense.
Working.
On that note, you've been quite active in our social events.
Yeah.
So we've been seeing each other yesterday at the barbecue.
That's right.
The golf.
Yeah.
What do you think of the guys that you met here in Asunción? I know your partner's been also making a lot of friendships. So how did you guys find the community here?
Yeah, so those are the three things that I talked about with Paraguay Pathways. I think ease and convenience, right? And like the second one was verification. So that's like the huge value add. And then the third was not something that I had like foresight on, but when I got to the country, it was just like this incredible network of really, really interesting people. And coming from a nomad, who I think like you as a nomad, you meet a lot of interesting people because everyone probably was in tech, like an interesting job, you traveled the world. But like this is a next level type of interesting. Like everyone's like a real self-starter. You've done the work of trying to figure out like, why Paraguay? So it's not somewhere you accidentally end up in. Like it's very intentional country to come to.
Surely.
Yeah, and people are super fun, right? And like willing to socialize as well because you're, coming into a really tight-knit community in Paraguay, I would say. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Nice to hear that. About your travel plans, so what is the next destination?
Oh, I'm getting so sucked into Asunción.
Why is that, by the way? Like, you've been here 3 weeks. What did you see that makes you think like, I want to stay a little longer?
The fact that it's a really good place to get into a routine. I feel really safe here.
What is your routine here?
Wake up early, go to the gym.
How early?
6:30.
Oh, that's early.
Yeah, that's not a very like Paraguayan way of life.
No, because everyone has got a different early, right?
Yeah. I just kind of like wake up when the sun rises. So like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Go to the gym.
Okay.
I do my work day, which, for someone who's been doing a weird time zone in Europe, like this is a really welcomed change. And then in the evenings, it's like some light lift social activity that involves steak in some way, shape, and form, my favorite. And then you rinse and repeat the next day.
Okay, amazing. Which area of the city are you staying in?
Recoleta.
Oh, Recoleta, nice. So it's a little bit off the common path of Shopping del Sol. How do you find it? What do you like and don't like about it?
I really like the La Quadrita area, like this easy accessibility to this like really nice like tree-lined path and like cafes, restaurants, but also just like really quiet, which was a big deal for me. I've like spent enough time in Latin American cities to know that when it's noisy, it gets noisy and it affects sleep. So I like that balance between the two.
Okay, that's great. And about your routine here and in Asunción in general, is there anything specific that you are enjoying? As you mentioned, the steaks, but also, is there anything that you're missing? Something that you're like, if it only had that, well, okay, ocean.
Right. I hear that's changing soon. I hear about the fake beaches.
Yeah. You can already try some. Have you ever heard of crystal lagoons?
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
Okay.
I'm there.
So there is a company in Chile that's incorporated as a US LLC. When I saw that on their website, I was like, gotcha, guys. But what they do is they build very, very big pools. Okay. By very, very big, I mean that they don't measure them in meters, they measure them in hectares.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah. The smallest they do is 1 hectare. And I think they have 6 already built and 3 coming in Paraguay already. Okay. I think it's the country that does definitely the most per capita. But in terms of like how many they have, it's up there with the US, something like that. So there are places where they generally have a residential complex. Say in San Bernardino, there is Aqua Village, and there's here in Luque, and there's actually quite a few. There is one in Pedro Juan Caballero, there's a few. And you basically just rent the Airbnb for, say, the weekend, and you have access to the Crystal Lagoon. So you don't just pay to get there, and it's actually just limited to the people who are residing there, at least for the Airbnb stay. But once you're there, you can enjoy like kayaking and stuff like that. Have you ever been to San Bernardino since you're here?
No, I have not. That's on the list for this weekend, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have heard great things about San Bernardino. It's right by the lake. Yeah.
You find Aqua Village.
Yeah.
So you can be on the Crystal Lagoon.
There you go.
And then there's the lake. So
there you go.
You got everything right there.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
You're going to move to San Bernardino at some point.
Maybe. Never say never, you know?
And in terms of facilities, infrastructure, I don't know, products, anything that's missing on your daily basis in your routine, that'd be like, that's great, but like, if there was this thing here, that'd be better.
Honestly, I don't think so.
Amazing.
I did not expect to not miss things as much. I mean, of course, you don't find your same brands and things like that, but I know that Amazon actually delivers pretty quickly here.
3 business days, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a breeze. I would speak for my partner, Robin, who is vegetarian in Paraguay.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on changing his mind on that, actually. I think Paraguay is a great place.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, my girlfriend was vegan for 4 years, and then as she came to Paraguay, that's all in the trash bin.
Exactly. I'm like, you got to get them when they're vulnerable, you know? Like,
like the main selling point of this country is taxes on meat, so
exactly.
Like you're missing 50% of the experience.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't think there's a community huge enough for them to think about like meat substitutes and things like that. So it's been a struggle for Robin.
Okay, yeah, so surely.
Yeah.
On that note, how are you coping with the fitness in Asunción? Is there anything you need in terms of like facilities, gyms, supplements? I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to tell you about this. Actually,
Okay.
I paid $12 for my gym membership at F45.
Oh,
which
that's
is
the
this,
cross training, right?
Yes, it's like a HIIT workout. Goes on for 45 minutes. It's like, you know, really good for like busy people on the go. Like you're trying to get an efficient workout in. I used to pay $250 a month in New York for this. So
Okay, wow.
I have, you know, then started like 2 more gym memberships because I like found it so affordable. And ideally, you would be, you know, doing a little bit of a different workout, right? Like, yeah. But it's just like, it's a affordability issue like outside of here. So I think that honestly, like the fitness and gym facilities are just, it's varied. And it's everywhere around the city. I know it's not just where I am right now. Yeah. The supplement game, that's where Amazon needs to come into play. I think there's a little bit of a lack in terms of just like what you're used to, but I think it's just a matter of time.
Do you think that's a business idea for someone who's coming to Paraguay?
I 100% think so.
Yeah.
You're
not the first person to mention that, so I actually think like you guys out there, start a supplement import business in Paraguay. It's easy money.
Yeah, I know. Like we're first on the list. We're waiting.
All right. And I guess internet is a big part of also your job and everything. Yeah. How is that serving you? Is it fast enough, reliable enough?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fairly new city, right? Like I think that means that everything is fiber optics and like, yeah, I haven't had any issues so far. I work at cafes often, so I hop around different places.
Oh, that's great.
Easy.
Give us a few ideas of cafes that it's nice to work from in Asunción.
Oh, great question. I am horrible at names.
Or you hop into the Uber, you're like, that place that is there with the
literally.
coffee and the nomads,
Yeah, exactly. With the coffee and the nomads. That's exactly what I say. El Café de Acá, I know is like a household name. Like,
of course.
People are torn about this. I love it because they have a great green space.
Yeah.
Heaps of space, great Wi-Fi, debatable quality of coffee, but great food.
Yeah, 100%. They're known to be the slowest people on earth to bring your food.
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know, honestly, if you go there with your laptop, you have all day.
100%.
Right?
It's a perk.
Exactly. The Paraguayan way of life. And then also Chaval. I need to tell people about Chaval, which is this bakery in Recoleta.
Okay.
Amazing Argentinian Paraguayan couple who bake their bread fresh every day in store, and it's amazing. Some of the best bread that I've had.
I didn't know about it, so that's actually amazing. I'm gonna check it out.
I think you and Manu will love it.
Will do. We're always on the lookout for new places, especially for breakfast and brunch, etc. Right. So amazing. Is there anything you would say to yourself before coming here, like in hindsight, some tips you would give to yourself? Did you have any doubts or any concerns?
I was really on top of my stuff because I have a lot of friends who have gone through the process of tax residency, not so much in Paraguay, but somewhere else. And I knew that I needed to get all my ducks in a row before I got in the country. And I think that was something that I hounded you guys on as well on the WhatsApp. And you guys were so helpful because I had just so many questions. But the last thing I wanted to do, especially in my case with already traveling a lot, was just like to get into the country without having something that I could easily ship over. And when you're, you know, like sending your passport or like some important document on DHL, you try to minimize that and try to get it right the first time around.
Sure, 100%.
Which is why I decided to use an agency and then also, you know, like make sure I got everything in order before coming in, which honestly made for a really easy 2 days at the offices.
Sounds great. How did other people react to the fact that you were going to Paraguay? Did you tell family and friends that I'm going to become a resident of Paraguay?
They were like, is that a country? Is that Uruguay?
In Africa? Or?
Yeah, there was a lot of Googling and ChatGPTing on their parts after I mentioned Paraguay. Yeah, and that's, to me, I see that as a strength. I think that is the biggest thing that's going on for Paraguay right now. It is a safe haven. It's part of Mercosur. It's kind of like it used to be a backwater country, and therefore they had all these reasons to put specific policies in place to incentivize people to come into the country. But this is growing, flourishing economy that, you know, it feels like a few people are plugged in right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also a nice feeling because it's like this tight little community of people.
100%.
Yeah, but it is growing and is undeniable. And as long as, you know, unfortunately for their neighbors of Brazil and Argentina, they're a little bit unstable, historically unstable. And as long as they are, I still feel like this is kind of
course,
the reason why they're growing
capital,
so much.
It's like safe haven, yeah. Actually, I'm going to give you a piece of data right there before you comment. Last year, the projection for growth of this year was 3.5%. It got revised to 4%. And yesterday, it went revised to 4.5%. But there's a strong argument that they're going to probably have to revise it a little bit upwards by the end of the quarter.
Wow. GDP.
Yeah, GDP. In terms of what you've seen so far, just the general feeling you have for how things are going, the cafes, you know, the buildings you've probably seen around, etc. What is your take to possibly invest, deploy capital, or see some opportunities in Paraguay? Is there something you would comment on that as a finance bro?
Love that. This is a great investment country, just in general. I know you do real estate. I'm looking at doing that very seriously myself. I think the net rental yields here are lower than the average. However, the capital appreciation is like a huge potential because I just see so many people coming in. I mean, your business deals specifically with that. Like the influx and the demand for a Plan B residency is really high right now. And like we said, like these are things that are longer term in nature, like with the instability of neighbors and just like how attractive they are as a safe haven, tax-free region. It's not going to go away overnight.
So did you look, by your comment, I think you're looking at possible foreign kind of interesting properties, so gringo properties.
Yeah.
On that, I'll give you a note.
Yeah.
If you want to find very high rental yield, look at properties that are way below the market
Exactly,
price.
Right. I noted that too, yeah. And I guess it depends on what your goals are, right? Like, do you want to flip them or do you want to hold them for a longer term? And that, you have to look at different market segments.
100%.
Just in terms of, because it's not a country of like high population growth, but I think it is a country of just like high, like the demand will still be growing because of their neighbors. I think most property sales are actually performed by like Brazilians and Argentinians. Like they account for like what, 50, 60?
100%.
I don't quote me on that.
Bolivians are also a big thing now.
Yeah.
On the flip side, what you have is a fertility rate that is slightly above 2, still 2.3. But the population pyramid is still on the very young side.
Right.
So in the next 20 years, there's a lack supposedly of 750,000 homes that are due to the fact that maybe the population growth isn't going to be that steep anymore, but the amount of people getting into work age is actually huge.
Right.
It's going to be a big chunk of the population.
A shift in demographics.
Yeah. Just literally also the households are changing as well. So we're moving from a model that is also common back in the days in Europe, in the US, etc., where like a family would have more of their family members living together. If you think about it, post-World War II, it was pretty common that grandparents, parents, and kids would live in the same house.
Yeah.
We shifted towards, the grandparents are in their own house and the parents live with their kids.
Right.
To a model where we have a lot of actual people that even if they are in a relationship, they would have each their own place, right? So looking at that curve and evolution, I would say that here we are still like in the kind of post-World War II era.
Yeah.
And so there's a demand coming just by the fractioning of households into, like people that want to look for their own place to have and to live there. So that I'll give you that insight so you can.
No, that's a great observation. Yeah. Less multi-generational homes.
And money is very expensive in Paraguay. Like the cost of money is 7.5% central rate. Banks would give you 11% right now. So having capital is a big thing because it's very hard to get. No, not very hard to get loans, but the thing is they're very pricey. So if you have capital, that goes a long way.
Right. Yeah.
It's a scarce productive factor right now.
Yeah.
Hey, is there anything else you've looked at other than real estate?
Not quite yet, but I am keen to look further into just like stock market. Like that's actually my number one preference, just like investing in the stock market. It's more diversified, more liquid. It's fast and easy compared to real estate, but I haven't looked enough into Paraguayan like stock markets or like opportunities just yet.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But once you come up with that supplement business, you know when to hit me up.
I'm gonna join you as an investor. We'll leave it to someone who knows how to do that.
That's true.
Not a big supplements guy. Like whey protein, that's all I take. Bit of omega-3 and sometimes vitamin D. I try to get it from the sun, but it's cloudy week, then I can't get much.
Have you looked much into the import-export?
We have a lot of clients who do that, and it's actually mega easy to do that in Paraguay. Like, it's mega easy. Also, like, most products have 0% tariff. Like, you basically have two tariffs. It's either 0 or 12.5. A lot of products go into 0. Some others go 12.5. And then you got the VAT, which is 10%. Boom. So that's it. That's all you need to not make the product sellable in Paraguay.
Right.
Customs clearance, this generally happens in the same day. Like unless it arrives very late in the evening, it's going to be next morning. 6 hours the average waiting time for customs clearance. So
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Same time, like I would say, a lot of the biggest companies in Paraguay, what they actually do is import stuff. So Paraguay exports raw materials, especially agricultural ones, and they import finished products like electronics and furniture and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much there's a lot of importing that gets done here.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
You're feeling quite okay in Recoleta, but of course, as a lady's perspective, you know, it's always a bit different on the safety side of things, because I think there's more concern, right, about safety. Do you feel safe?
I feel very safe where I am. And I think for the most part of Asunción, I think for me, the biggest takeaway is hearing from like a local, like, yes, you can walk at night and it's going to be okay. Like people rarely shy away from saying things like that just in case, you know, something happens. I did hear that downtown is probably not the place to do that. You know, there's obviously pockets of the city, but this happens everywhere. But for the most part, the fact that I can just walk around with earphones in, disengage while I'm on the street, it's a good indicator.
How does it compare to New York City in that regard?
I feel the same in New York City, honestly. I also lived in Manhattan in my little bubble.
Okay.
New York is a really huge city, right? Like, so I feel like there's a lot of places in New York where I wouldn't do that necessarily.
That makes a lot of sense. Did you interact much with the locals?
Yes, as much as I can with my restaurant Spanish. Okay. I literally have only enough Spanish to feed myself. Which is why I call it restaurant Spanish. They're amazing. The language barrier that I have experienced here is probably like one of the biggest barriers.
100%.
And, you know, for good reason. I mean, they have no reason to speak English. There's not a lot of tourism in the way that other countries, you know, experience it. And I feel like most of the locals that I've spoken to haven't really traveled outside too. So like Spanish is king here in Latin America. Yeah. But that actually is great for me to learn Spanish.
Because it forces you to practice.
Exactly.
Okay. How's it going?
It's going well.
Nice.
Yeah. I think for me, like learning language is so different than learning anything else. Like I just have to be in situations where I need to use it.
Okay.
Like the necessity makes it a thing. So yeah, I think that it's going great.
Comment if you want to have part 2 recorded in Spanish.
Oh, that would be such an achievement, actually. That's a great test.
100%. If you survive a podcast in Spanish,
I'll see you back here.
That's the day you will say, I've learned Spanish. Like, that's it. Has the language barrier stopped other people from speaking with you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I don't think so. Like I feel so like all I've experienced so far is like a lot of patience, right? Like so even like when we establish up front that we don't speak the same language and we're about to embark in like a complicated like discussion, there's Google Translate, there's like just patience and honestly just humanness in the interactions that I've had so far.
Translate or GPT? What is the best way to do it?
Oh, I haven't actually used GPT for translation. Should I be doing this?
Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's got the voice feature, right? So you just speak.
That's right. I just do that with Google Translate. I didn't even think of using GPT for that.
Now we have a Russian speaker in the team, two actually.
Yeah.
But one native-born Russian.
Yeah.
But before that, with Russian clients, it was literally all like GPTing back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's life as well. It's faster too. The turnaround time.
Just because you just speak into it.
Yeah. It's more nuanced. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think AI is gonna kill the language barrier. Hey, but at the same time, it's gonna kill the incentive to learn languages.
Yeah, that's so true. But I'm still like recovering from the shock of like me not having used GPT for this. You blew my mind.
The next thing you do is ask ChatGPT 100 useful phrases, 100 useful sentences for your daily routine.
Ooh, I like that.
It's super useful.
My daily routine.
Absolutely. Like that is the best prompt I've ever used. Like that's how I learned Portuguese. Literally just by throwing me some useful stuff.
Right, yeah.
I would like you to look at the camera for a second and talk to a person that's hesitating about coming here. They're thinking, I think it'd be a great tax move or whatever. I've heard nice things about it, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm ready to take the step. It's a big change, like changing tax residency feels like you're changing home.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
So if you're thinking about tax residency in Paraguay, I highly advise that you get clear about your goals. And if the goals align with tax residency here, make sure that you have good people, good advisors behind you that will help you through the process. Paraguay as a country is great. As a city, Asunción is amazing in so many ways. And I feel like its strength is in the fact that it's not overpopulated and over-commercialized just yet, but it's happening very soon. So you want to beat that, but truly, I think that if it feels like a big deal, I would explore what the driver of that fear is. If it's the process and being bogged down by administrative requirements, I think that it can be the easiest process ever. I do believe that. I mean, I had a really smooth experience myself, so I believe that, just equipping yourself with the knowledge and doing your research is going to feel like a lot, but it is a very easy process. So yeah, get clear on your goals.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Shall we get another coffee?
Yes.
Let's go for it. Thanks, Tracy, for coming.
Yeah,
really super appreciate that.
It made me feel so comfortable. I just felt
It's all Brian's merit, right? I just randomly chat.